you're going to get whatever narrative of Trey Lance you want. I feel like you get that narrative. If you are one of the people that's just like Trey Lance is terrible, unfortunately, there were some plays that you could look at and you'd be like, yeah, these were terrible plays. If you want the Trey splash plays, guess what? You got some of those as well. And so overall, I didn't think it was a positive game for Trey. I know that his stats and the quarterback rate and all that stuff looks pretty good, but I don't know. I walked away. Here's my biggest take with Trey. That wasn't Trey that I saw all through training camp.
No, it wasn't. Which,
It,
but there are reasons for that, and people are gonna be like, "Well, Trey reverted back to his old mechanics." I didn't think he did. I didn't think he reverted back to his old
mechanics were
mechanics.
fine.
Right.
Yeah.
I just thought he played like a quarterback that hasn't played football. In live action, practice
Yeah.
action and live action, two different actions. Even in the joint practices, still two different actions, right? So like when he got in every time I talk about this, it's always an excuse. But people keep saying it's an excuse. This is not an excuse. This is actually reality, right? Because I don't even expect when Brock comes out and he plays, I'm not expecting Brock to go and light the damn field up. I'm expecting him to kind of not be in
Which he did
football.
not do during training camp either.
Right. But your point was Trey looked like the best quarterback in training camp. But I'm curious to know, what were those plays dialed up? The day I was out there, that's when I realized, I said to you, why is he throwing first? Why not set up the first down with the run? So clearly, in my opinion, Kyle's working on something. That's my take on it. He's working on something to set up something for later, because Kyle isn't trying to beat you in the first quarter. He's trying to beat you down in the first quarter.
Yeah.
So the thing that I got from Trey Lance is he can take a hit. He's not afraid to run. Like, these
No.
are some of the positives that I got out of it. And we talk about how Trey can't throw quickly. Contraire moon frere, because on that fourth drive, it was naked bootlegs and tosses over
Yeah.
the pass rush. So that's quick throws to me, and they were accurate. AF.
There we go. Look at Johnny Dale. He says mechanics look solid. Played
Johnny's
heavy
the man.
times. That was my issue. My biggest flaw or anger with Trey Lance was on, I think, the second sack that he took, where I think it was Dwelly, just ran a hitch route right at the first down marker, and it was there, and you saw him like look at it, and then he just kind of held it, and I was like, it reminded me of old Trey, what I was hoping he got away from. But then later in the game, he corrected that. It was whatever. Now,
Well, can I give you a different interpretation on that? Because I had a different interpretation from that play. Because if you're talking about that second sack that he took, and you go back and look at the play, he drew 4 defenders to Ross Dwelly on that play. So yeah, it would have been possibly a first down. Ross Dwelly would have got cracked. And if you saw at the very top of the screen, guess who was wide open? Chris
yeah,
Conley. And
yeah,
so, like, it looked like, for me, the pump fake was to get everybody to Dwelly and then get the ball down the field for the touchdown. And so, like, what are we interpreting here? Like Trey has always been a touchdown guy, big play. I'm going for the gusto. To me, on that opinion, did he pump fake? Yes. Is that hesitation? Yeah, I guess. But what if he was hesitating to make the big play down the field to the wide open Chris Conley? Then the pressure was just there. He just didn't get a chance to make the throw. And I compared that play last night on the show, John, to the same play Brock Purdy did in the Super Bowl, on the play that got him injured. Brock Purdy pump faked. He held onto the ball as long as he can, because guess who was wide open? Brandon Ayuk. And unfortunately, the block didn't hold up. The speed got to him. It deflected the pass. Blah, blah, blah. Everything else happened. So it all depends on interpretation. So, like, that's why it's hard to evaluate if we don't know what Kyle Shanahan told him to do.
yeah. That's there. And unfortunately, every play's got to be under a microscope now. That's just what it is, because just the narratives and, the injuries and the quarterback competition and all those things. I want to give a shout out to Adam Spence. Look at this. He says, #CC from Montreal, listening in Dubai. Keep up the fantastic work, guys. Man, we appreciate that. Thank you so much. Now, I don't want this to be a Trey Lance podcast, because I think we're going to get to see some more of Trey. And I think it's pretty clear Brock's going to be quarterback one. We've been saying that for I don't know how long.
It's clear.
That it was the health. If the health's back, he's good. I thought Trey Lance would be starting week 1 because I didn't expect Brock to be back so early.
Same
But
here.
as soon as Brock came back to training camp, I said, this is not a quarterback competition. It will not be. And I don't think it should be.
It is for the twos.
It is. Now, okay, let's talk some Sam Darnold.
Let's
Let's
talk
go
Sam
some
Darnold.
Sammy D. I thought that he looked pretty clean, pretty efficient. I just finished my second half breakdown of the offense. And, you know, my biggest critique were no points came from any of his drives. You know, but I don't put it all on him.
There's context there as well. I mean, he did look pretty clean. Didn't have the best throws. Even to me, even that throw to Ronnie Bell, I mean, that was just a better catch. It was almost an overthrow. It felt like Ronnie Bell got under it, stretched out, and caught it. So you chalked that up to being a great throw, but it was really a great catch from Ronnie Bell. But I tell you what, man, Cameron Latu doesn't drop that. That's possibly a touchdown scoring drive for Sam Darnold. So there's a possibility he would have had points put on the board, but you know, we can't go back. It didn't happen. So you're right. What happened was there were no points on his drive.
And I'll say this. What's up, Yatsik? I think so much of what Sam Darnold does is he's the best of all the quarterbacks in this is my first read. I'm going to my first read. Like, he's so quick. He's quicker than Brock there. He's quicker than Trey there. The problem with Sam, and we've seen this his entire career and in training camp, when that first read's closed,
he's going to pump fake. He's going to hesitate. And that's where the interceptions come.
And there was one of those plays that was definitely a turnover-worthy play where it got tipped by like 2 defenders. It wasn't a turnover.
Good point.
But like, I'm like, man, no, I haven't seen this on my Twitter line or anything. But like, this was a terrible, terrible decision. But that's kind of who Sam is. Now, if he can limit those, I think that's huge. So go ahead. You got something on your mind? Then I got another question for you about the quarterbacks. Then we'll
because
there's so many other positives to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, like I thought Sam Darnold. Honestly, he looked the most polished out of the quarterbacks that played on during that preseason game, which he should. He has the most experience, right? So he should look polished. And I think the way you summed it up is he is a one read, quick throw guy. Period. It's when that breaks down. And so this is preseason. He was able to get those reads off. It's interesting because is that what the quarterbacks for the 49ers have to be? Is that's my question. Are you asking the quarterback, it doesn't matter who it is, to be the one read, quick throw guy and then find a way to get through your progression? Is that
I think if you're with that backup offensive line, which was dog crap,
you put that in there.
It was dog crap, then yes, you have to. And I think that's an issue. Like, okay, if I'm a quarterback and I'm going out and I'm working with the twos,
I got to get this ball out my hand quick.
So one time it happens, it's like, okay, cool. I'm not getting the protection I need. That was a 4-man blitz. I got hit in 1.5 seconds. Now I got to get the ball out. And that's another thing for Trey. It's like Trey was like, no, I can get this deep ball.
Right.
You can't. You cannot.
Right.
You can't do it. And on Darnold's deep throw, that was catch and throw. Got single high, the motion over. They brought down the robber safety.
That was the perfect read, John. That was the perfect. It was perfect. Like
Sam, his first read.
It was his first
read.
It was his first read, but it was because what the safety did. It was because of what he saw off the defense. The safety was off. He threw that ball. It was 1-on-1. It was man coverage. It was easy for him. So I love it. Like but you get that, John. You get that, John, by playing football. So you're like, at the end of the day, Sam Darnold is the most tenured quarterback on the 49ers. Like, he's the most experienced. So he's seeing a lot. So you got to factor that in. Again, when it comes to Trey Lance, you got to take the good, the bad, and the ugly. I won't put out there that this kid is trash or this kid sucks, because there's so many reasons to why he's not seeing the field the way all the other quarterbacks. Now, I know what the national media is doing to him. I understand that. But I feel like as a faithful, need to have his back, because we all know the true story. That's what they're not putting out there, and that's what's agitating me the most. Like, there's a story behind Trey Lance. There's a reason why he isn't developed yet. Don't forget, he still got injured week 2 of last year, which was his developmental year. He didn't get any many reps his rookie season, unless Jimmy Garoppolo was hurt. And now it comes down to he's not going to get those reps because Brock Purdy's healthy and he's good to go. So at the end of the day, he's just going to take much more time to develop. And I tell you what, for those that want to trade Trey Lance, you can get that out of your mind, because Kyle Shanahan is going to have his cake. He's going to eat it too, because God forbid things happen. At least he knows he has a quarterback in his system that he can get some plays off with, and he could win a game or two with. And I think Trey Lance still gives him that option. And I still don't think Kyle Shanahan is showing us what Trey Lance can still do positively. I think he's working on Trey Lance's negatives and flaws, trying to get those fixed. And I think one of the things you just did was point out, Trey, gotta get the ball out your hand quick, dog.
Hey, this your boy Frank Gore. I'm listening to 49er Rush Niners all day. That's Brain Sits Home.